I am going to introduce you to Socrative, which is an engaging, interactive classroom application created by a group of teachers for formative assessments. Through Socrative, teachers can collect data from students via smartphones, laptops, and tablets. It is extremely valuable because of the fact that it can be used on any platform with internet service, meaning teachers can use what is available to them and their students. As teachers, we realize we need tools that are adaptable to our available resources. It also saves time for grading assignments, and you can view reports online as a Google spreadsheet or emailed as an Excel file. Today I'm going to show you how to set up some features on Socrative as an educator on a computer. However, as I mentioned before, all of the activities I will demonstrate are available on other platforms. To begin, you must create a username and password or sign in with your Google information. I have chosen to create a username and password that is not linked to my Google account. Once you log in, you will be launched into the dashboard. Here is where you will manage the quizzes and questions you assign. You will also have access to the reports generated from the quizzes and questions students have responded to. The first place we will visit is the blue bar at the bottom titled Manage Quizzes. Here is where you'll be prompted to create a quiz or import a quiz. You also have the ability to modify quizzes that you have created or imported, as well as to view reports. The first place we're going to go is Import Quiz. This might be a good place to start for people new to Socrative. Teachers have collaborated to create a Google document that is shared with pre-made quizzes. Each quiz is assigned an ID number, and you can search this Google document by ID number, quiz name, subject, and grade level, or any of the qualifiers you see here. Once you've located a quiz that looks appropriate for your class, you will simply find the Socrative ID number, copy it, and then paste it back into the Socrative text box. Read Across America week was last week, so this Dr. Seuss trivia looked like a good choice. Now I'll return to the dashboard. I'll go back to Manage Quizzes and look at this quiz that I've imported. Here I can choose to edit the quiz. Okay, a lot of them begin with name question, which just asks the kids to give their names when they start answering the questions. I'm going to eliminate that quiz question because I'm going to show you how I'm going to use this quiz. So here I'm going to now save and exit, and there's a fun feature here called Space Race. Here you can select the quiz that you want to use, and you can divide your class into teams. So for example, if you don't have enough tablets or laptops for each individual student, you can select teams of 2, 3, 4, however many is appropriate, however many devices are in your classroom. I'm going to say 2, and I'm going to auto-assign team colors, and I'm going to start the activity. What is going to happen now is that the students need to log in on their devices. It will ask students to enter the teacher's room. When I created my username and password, I was assigned a room that I was able to customize to make it easier for my student. So my student will join the room, and then they will enter their name. So here I now have a student who is now able to answer questions from this quiz. And they will submit the answer, okay? And they will keep going. And they'll get feedback immediately. Okay? And on my platform, if I go back to it, I can see the progress that the team has made. I can see that since I don't have any students in the magenta team has not made any progress. I can choose to end the activity at any time by clicking Finish. And here is where I get a chance to view my reports. I can have them emailed to me, I can download them, I can look at them on Google Drive, I can view a chart, or I can simply say, I don't want to look at this right now, but I'll save these results for later. Here I'm just going to look at view chart. And I can also decide if I want the whole class, individual students, or question specific, depending on how I choose to analyze the data. I'm going to look at the chart and I'm going to see, okay, Tony Tiger, he did not answer question 1 or question 3 correctly. He did get question 2 correct. And then I can still go back and I can get a more detailed report if I choose or not. I'm going to exit here. I can also go back to the report later if I chose to view it later, and the information is all still going to be there. I'm returning to the dashboard because I can start a quiz in a different way. I can start a quiz with each student answering individually on their own devices. This one is a student-paced immediate feedback where students can receive immediate feedback and explanations after they answer each question. And I will also be able to monitor their progress on my platform. I can have student-paced with student navigation where they actually have the ability to edit questions, skip questions, and navigate the quiz independently. And there's also teacher-paced quiz where I can control the flow of questions by sending one question at a time and visualizing the responses. I can skip certain questions and even revisit questions. This might be appropriate for when I want feedback about a certain topic, and if I notice that lots of students are misunderstanding things, I can pause the quiz, do a mini lesson, and then continue the quiz. I'm going to do the teacher pace just so you can see what that looks like on both my panel and the student panel. So when I start the quiz, I can see that 0 questions have been, 0 students have answered. And so I'm going to go back to the student portal, and now Amy now sees what the question is and what the answers are. So we're going to submit this answer, and so now I will look here, and now I see 1 out of 1 student has answered. How did she do? Okay, she did great, so I can continue to ask the next question. And on hers, she will now wait, and now she sees the next question she can answer. I go back. And normally we wouldn't be going back and forth because the students would have this in front of them. Okay, I see she understands that. Capital of Arizona. Okay. And oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to see, oh, she didn't understand that. So maybe I pull the map out and I revisit Arizona and the capital of Arizona, and then I can resume the quiz. Or I might choose to just simply finish the quiz at this point and have my reports. I'm going to view them later. Okay, so now you've seen 2 ways that we can use the quizzes in the classroom. Now here's the next piece, is the quick question. And this is a question that I will ask orally. And the students only get to view the answer choices. So I might ask a true or false question. I might say a rhombus is a shape with all 4 sides the same length. And students need to go to their portal, and here I can see the true-false question responses, and I am going to submit true. And here I can see that 1 out of 1 student answered correctly. Okay, now here there is no, only the teacher knows if the answer is going to be correct or not. There's no assessment on Socrative's end because this is not a predetermined question. And I can just ask questions like these as I'm teaching, as something pops into my mind, rather than asking kids to raise their hands and answer. I can now get feedback from every single student. The last 2 things I'm going to show you are the exit ticket and how to create your own quizzes. The exit ticket can be used either at the beginning of a lesson to assess baseline knowledge of a topic before you begin teaching, or at the end of a lesson to see what enduring understandings your students will be leaving the classroom with that day. The exit ticket always has the same 3 questions as options for students. The first question is, how well did you understand today's material? And they have 4 choices. Then the next question is, what did you learn in today's class? That's an open response. And the last question is an oral question. So if I was a student, I would enter my name, and I would answer, how well did I understand today's material? Totally got it. What did I learn in today's class? How to use Socrative. Okay. And then my question, an oral question that the teacher might ask would be, what is the best tool that Socrative has? And I could say, I really like the space race tool. Okay, and so I can submit my answers. And then on the teacher page, I can look at the results table. So now I have a student that's responded. Okay, totally got it. I can look at the answer and the name. And if I had more students that responded, I would have a longer list. And I could look at the third question, and I could show names and answers, and I can look at a whole list of how students are responding. And then I can finish, and I can view the chart again. I can download these results, or I can just simply view them later. The last thing is creating your own quiz. And for example, if you are teaching a lesson on rocks and minerals, you might want to create your own quiz. And notice that they're assigning an ID so that I can add that to that shared document with all of the shared quizzes. I can also add a tag if I want, and this allows me to add Common Core standards to this test. I'm not going to do that at this time, but I can add all the different types of questions. I can add multiple choice, true and false, or short answer questions. So for example, I could say, what type of rock is granite? And then I would say igneous, metamorphic, or sedimentary. And I would choose the correct answer. Okay. I could give an explanation for the option as students work through the test. They can see the correct answer immediately. If 5 answer choices isn't enough, I can add more options. I could even add an image if I so chose. And then I can add another question. This time I might do true or false. And I could say a rock is made up of 2 or more minerals. And I could say the correct answer is true. Okay. And lastly, I could ask for a short answer. Explain how the rocks go through a cycle. How can an igneous rock become a sedimentary rock? Or how can a sedimentary rock become metamorphic? Explain in detail and use examples in your answer. Now this is clearly a more complex question, but they are able to write in as much as they need to. So then I can save and exit, and I now have this 3-question quiz on rocks and minerals that I can administer to the class. When my class is done for the day, or I'm done teaching a lesson, it's important to clear out your room to get all the kids that aren't part of that lesson and at that time out of your room. So I'm just going to clear my room, and I can either log out or I can start a new lesson with new students who can then sign into the same room. I hope you have found some value in this program that I've explained today. I think it is a very useful tool, and I hope that you will find ways to incorporate it into your own classroom. Thank you.